In this video today, I'm going to show you how I create these storage pockets for my unmounted red rubber stamps to store inside a mini-size notebook. I wanted to store in these smaller notebooks instead of the full letter-size notebooks. And this is a mini notebook that I found at the Dollar Tree, and it is about 9 by 6 inches in size. And I managed to find 3 different kinds of sheet protectors or pockets for mini-size notebooks. This one is a full-size sheet protector for the mini notebook, and this one is actually for photographs, so it's got 2 larger pockets and the large skinny pocket in the middle that normally will store your negatives. And this is the third type of pocket that I was able to find. And this one is normally for business cards, but it's got a rather large seam in the middle that takes up about 1/2 inch of the real estate. And each pocket is less than 2 3/4 inch in width. And to make some smaller pockets, I've taken one of the full size or full sheet protectors, and I'm going to use my fuse tool to create 12 pockets. And I've also used the photograph pocket with the 2 large ones and the large skinny, and just run the fuse tool right down the middle to create 6 pockets. And to make the 12 pocket protectors, I have this cutting board that I got at the Dollar Tree that happens to fit these just perfectly. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, and I've marked on this cutting board where I want to make my vertical slits. Okay, and now I remove the sheet protector, and I've got 3 slots in here. Now I have a silicone sheet here that I've placed down on my glass media mat, and I've marked some areas down here at the bottom. And that's so that I can line this up to determine where I want to make my vertical lines, which are going to be at 2-inch marks. But first what I want to do is I need to seal the bottom of each of these flaps. And to make this seal, I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers fuse tool using the wheel that will make a single line as it fuses. So I'm going to put my ruler just on the top of each of those slits that I did. You can see here the bottom slit is right here, and so this is just on the top. And then I'm going to slowly run my fuse tool right along the bottom to seal the bottom of that flap. Okay, so now I'm going to line it up vertically. So I'm going to put the end here and line it up with these 2. And so now I want to make some vertical lines this way. And so I'm going to put the slot of the fuse tool, and it won't go all the way up, so I'll just draw the bottom one first. So I'll just slowly run along the slot all the way to the bottom. Okay, now I need to do this top pocket, and so I'll just line this up again and just run down the top pocket. Next, I'm going to take the plates of rubber stamps that I've purchased and I'm going to cut the individual stamps out. Then I'm going to look up the part number for each of the stamps on the Peddler's Den website, which is where I bought these plates of stamps. And then I'll use a Sharpie marker to put the part number on the back of each of these stamps. And now that I have got all of the stamps labeled with their part number, I'm going to start putting them in the stamp pockets that I've created. And for the instances where the stamp is too large for the smaller pockets and too small for these larger pockets, I'll just use my fuse tool to make a custom size pocket for these odd-sized stamps. Okay, to make some index sheets, I've taken some acid-free cheap cardstock. The one I'm using here is a Hammermill premium color copy cover paper, and I wanted to make sure that it was acid-free, and it says right here that it's acid-free. And I've cut it 8.5 by 5 3/4, and this will fit inside the full-size sheet protector, like so. Okay, and in order to stamp these stamps onto the index sheet, we have a couple of options. You can use a product that's called Tack and Peel that you put onto an acrylic block, and it's got a protective covering that you take off. And then, in this case, I'll just use it for these two. And then you just remove the stamps from the block. Okay, and then for the Tack and Peel, you just put the covering that was on it back on to protect the sticky part. Now, I did notice that I couldn't really clean off the printing that came off of the back of the Sharpies when I put the part number on the Tack and Peel. And another option is to use some mirror stamps, which tend to be really sticky. This group of stamps is from the paper Smooches, and this one is from the Stamps of Life. And so in this example, I'll use the Stamps of Life one, and I will just put it onto an acrylic block. And the mirror stamps tend to be so sticky that you can actually use them to pick up these unmounted rubber stamps. And one of the advantages to using a mirror stamp is it's not permanently attached to your block. And the Sharpies that tended to come off onto whatever I was using on the blocks, I had better luck at cleaning it off these mirror stamps than I did the Tack and Peel, especially if I used the Ultra Clean cleaner that I use to clean my stamps. And now I'm going to write down the part number or stamp number for each of the images onto the stamped index sheet. And now I'll put the index sheet into the sheet protector. And this way you can have the index sheet in front of each panel of stamps. And you can alternately cut out each of the images and slide it into each of the pockets in front of the stamp. The only issue is I'm not sure if it's really safe to store these stamps in direct contact with cardstock like this. I did make sure that this is acid-free cardstock, but if you know one way or another whether it's safe for unmounted rubber stamps to be in constant contact with cardstock, leave a comment down in the comment section below. And here is the mini notebook storage solution containing 2 plates of Making a Scene bare rubber stamps that I ordered from the Peddler's Den. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!